Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Well, last couple of weeks I've been talking about Bible study, and I hope you've had a chance to see those videos. I want to come back to it because there's so much more to do when we study Scripture and we read through it slowly and we figure out how to apply it to our lives. But I'm taking an intermission for a moment, a time out, because this is Black History Month. This is February. And I think so many times we are remiss if we don't engage in all of the different cultures that we have in this world. And I love trying to learn and respect and appreciate and grow from other cultures. Now, obviously, I did not grow up as a Black American. I am white, and as such, I've had to take advantage of opportunities to learn different aspects of Black culture. And I think Black culture varies widely in America, certainly varies worldwide, but there's so much to offer. I can remember when I was young and in school, one of the things we learned about was the life of George Washington Carver. Now, George Washington Carver was a Black American who grew up, he was born, in fact, as a slave, born on a slave plantation. I think his name was Moses Carver, was the name of the slave owner. And there were some Arkansas marauders that tried to kidnap him as an infant and weren't successful, thank God. But he grew up in a very segregated South where the educational opportunities for those of African heritage were very, very limited. And yet, he figured out how to thrive and survive in ways that have made a difference in my life and in yours as well. You know, I'm planning to eat here in just a minute. One of my favorite snacks. These are Lance whole grain peanut butter crackers. And I mention these because I think George Washington Carver is almost like single-handedly responsible for seeing that old depleted cotton soil was replanted with peanuts, and that peanuts not only became a major staple crop, but all these different uses of peanuts. I think he did the same for sweet potatoes, but I'm not eating one of those right now. I think it's important because this was a man of science. George Washington Carver had great inventions. Time magazine in the mid-20th century, like 1931 or maybe it was 41, somewhere in there, called George Washington Carver the Leonardo da Vinci of our age because he was an inventor, he was a scientist, he was a man gifted in so many different areas. But what makes me really appreciate him was his devout faith in God. So here you've got one of these early scientists, one of the best scientists, who believes and understands that science is a tool that God has given us to make this world a better place. And so science is not something that's on an opposite side of a teeter-totter from God, but it is an expression of God's character, of his logic, of the way he set this world up, not to be a Harry Potter world of mysterious witching spells, but to be a world we can investigate and learn and take practice on. I did some research to try to find his story of how he found God. And I found some things he said about it later in life, and I thought it worth reading to you. George Washington Carver said, "There isn't much of a story to it. God just came into my heart one afternoon while I was alone in the loft of our big barn while I was shelling corn to carry to the mill to be ground into cornmeal." He said, "A dear little white boy, one of our neighbors, about my age, came by one Saturday morning. And in talking and playing, he told me he was going to Sunday school tomorrow morning. I was eager to know what a Sunday school was. He said they sang hymns and prayed. I asked him what prayer was and what they said, and I don't remember what he said, but I do remember as soon as he left, I climbed up into the loft, I knelt down by the barrel of corn, and prayed as best as I could. I don't remember what I said. I only recall I felt so good. I prayed several times before I quit." He added, my brother and myself were the only colored children in that neighborhood, and of course, we couldn't go to church or Sunday school of any kind. Such a pity. I know we've come a long way since then. I think we have a long way to go. But I'm excited to spend some time this week looking at some people of color who have dramatically affected our world and my life, sometimes whether we realize it or not. So join me this week as we celebrate Black History Month together, and think about George Washington Carver the next time you eat some peanuts. It's your video thought for the day.